need to get this on because if my kids watch this, I get in trouble. There.
And it is, well, we'll go ahead and call it a beautiful morning, even though it's muggy out.
Oh my gosh, it's terribly muggy. Felt like I was walking inside of a plastic bag coming in here.
Yes, and it's weird when you walk inside from outside. It's like, wow, big difference.
We're glad to be in here, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's not even winter yet.
I know.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Now it's going to be a harsh, cold winter with 10 feet of snow, and I'm all going to blame you for it.
You know what an equinox means, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're nearing the point in time where the day is exactly the same length of time as the night. Do you know what date that would be?
December.
When?
No, it's September. I think it's 21st, 2nd,
yes.
3rd, I'm not sure.
It's somewhere between the 20th and 21st.
The shortest day of the year is in December.
22nd.
Tanner, we
That's
just
what I was thinking.
there you go.
Paul.
All
You
right.
just stumped me without even trying.
I'm changing the trivia question to that.
Oh, okay. Right out the gate. Paul's
See,
been
you
stumped.
can do anything
We can move on now.
when you're producing the show. Well, we're tough to read about Hurricane Laura. I guess that hit home land yesterday, I think, or the day before. Hopefully there's not too much destruction. But man, that area is what got hit another time. That's tough times with that.
Yeah.
So our thoughts and prayers are with all the people that live in that area and the folks that are going to be helping put it back together too. I'm sure there's a lot of trouble to work out down there. We're excited to mention how humid it is, but this weekend's going to be a little bit cooler.
It is. There's a cool down coming down.
Front coming through or something, so it's good golfing weather, Tanner.
That's what I'm thinking.
I knew it. I can read minds. I was thinking about fishing, but you know, sometimes a cold front comes through and it kind of shuts them down. So
yeah.
I'm not sure. Not sure what I'll be doing, but good weather to be outside. That's for sure. Maybe you could even make a little fire in the backyard for once. It's too hot to do that.
I need to build a little fire pit or something.
Yeah, because we can still legally burn in city limits for another few weeks.
Take advantage.
Take advantage, right?
Yeah. Hey, big announcement. The Federal Reserve Bank Chairman Powell announced that the Fed's prepared to keep interest rates really low for as long as necessary. This didn't sound like much of an announcement, but it's different than kind of the way they've been doing things by trying to preemptively work out inflation before it's even seen sometimes. And now they're going to give it a little bit more leash, I guess is a good way to say it. So that should, you know, if that works, that should boost the economy a little bit in the longer run and allow it to run a little bit more. So in years past, they've been calling for the Fed to do that, and they hadn't changed kind of how they do it. So now they have. So kind of interesting. We got some great guests coming up later in the show with another special celebration on air that we've never done before, I don't believe. Karmin Reeves is here from Fulton County Habitat for Humanity and Aimee Stewart, a Habitat homeowner. And we're going to be talking with them about a special accomplishment that happened in the past few months. And our trivia this morning is about Habitat for Humanity, specifically here in Fulton County. Okay, Paul, how many homes has Fulton County Habitat for Humanity built since 1998? Okay, think about how many years. So there's 16 homes, 19, or 22. It's kind of a tight grouping of choices. Might make it a little bit tougher for the guy.
Hope so.
Okay, let's move through sports. There's a lot going on. Oh wait, no, there's not again.
Not a lot.
No.
Everything's
Darn
going
it.
to come to a halt right now.
That's tough. This is tough on us.
But we did get the Indy 500 in.
Yes. Hey, wasn't that a nice event to have?
Yeah, and you were telling me that your family does a little fun contest and that you drew the winner.
Yeah, my kids were not happy about that. We each put $1 in and picked 4 drivers, like a little draft, snake draft. And I had the first pick, and I picked Sato at the first one.
Yep.
Wow.
So I got lucky.
Kumo Sato won. Caution ended Indy 500. That was kind of a bummer that it ended in caution.
Yes. I don't think he would have won if it was a restart. It just didn't seem like that was going to work out.
I will say I was glad to see somebody win that already previously won. I didn't want to see a first-time Indy winner win it with no crowd there. That would have just been... I'm sure they would have been ecstatic still, but it just probably would have taken away a little bit from their...
It's hard to feel that fully when you're watching through the television, but imagine those drivers,
That's
even the
a good
finish
point.
of the race,
Yeah.
and how quiet it
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
been after all the cars were shut down and there's just nothing.
It was
Yeah.
weird to hear the gentleman start your engine call and no fans responded.
Yeah.
It was just silence. You hear the cars turn on. I went, wow, those don't sound as powerful.
Yeah.
Go-karts.
Yeah.
But another good Indy 500 race in the books, and hopefully next year is a little more visual like we're used to.
I'm hoping.
We got some other big events coming up
Yeah.
next month or
Yeah,
so.
got Kentucky Derby coming up. Got the Masters in November. So
Great.
couple things. The U.S. Open in September. So couple big events coming up. The NBA is of course in the headlines this week. The Indiana Pacers also were in the headlines. They fired head coach Nate McMillan earlier this week.
Well, they just gave him an extension.
Just gave him a 2-year extension earlier this month.
Oh man.
And then pulled it. This is coming after another first-round sweep, which the Pacers have been swept in the first round of the playoffs now 2017, 2019, and 2020, and haven't won a playoff series since 2014. Nate McMillan had a 3-16 playoff record as a coach of the Pacers, so I do think it's time, but like you said, why even give him a contract extension if this was even on their mind as a possibility?
You gotta have the players.
Yeah,
You know, they've had a lot of injuries, and with a small market team,
Nope, you're not
one of your
going to get.
big two guys goes down, and
Yep, you're
I'm
not going to get
sorry.
the free agents. They have to draft better, and they're going to have to make a right coaching choice here.
They haven't had a single-digit first-round draft pick since
89.
a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, I looked that up the other day. One of my friends asked me, I'm like, I'm going to look that up.
So
So,
they've had a nice run of decent success.
yeah, so, but it'll be interesting to see who they go after. Mike D'Antoni of the Rockets is kind of the rumored name if he doesn't get re-signed by the Rockets.
Okay.
So, we'll
Must
see.
be a little switch in strategy then
Yeah,
if they did that.
maybe that's what they need. I don't know.
I don't either.
Something's got to change. So, and another local favorite professional team, the White Sox, had a pitcher throw a no-hitter, Lucas Giolito. That was pretty impressive the other night. Against your Indians, wasn't it, Paul?
I think so.
You know, this could have been the season where there weren't any no-hitters because it's so short. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice that somebody had one this early
Yeah, it
on.
was. And then the other Chicago team continues to struggle a little bit.
Did we pull that headline from past shows? We were just
Well,
putting that
the
up.
funny thing is, one of our loyal viewers of the First Federal Radio Show, Sydney Chip Corbett, actually messaged me on LinkedIn, and he wanted me to bring this to your attention, Evan.
Oh,
Since the
gosh.
August 14th show, 2 weeks ago, you
Okay.
were bragging about the Cubs being 13-3.
I knocked on the counter, I think.
You did. Since then, they've gone 5-9.
Thanks, Chip.
They're still,
I'm sorry,
So-
okay? Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart.
There's-
We'll get this turned around.
they're still winning the division. They got over a record of 18-12, but that is not the best in baseball
The
anymore.
ghost of Harry Carey is going to help this team turn from today forward,
All
Chip.
right,
Here
so
we
now we're
go.
on the record again. They have a big series over this weekend
Holy
with the
cow.
Cincinnati Reds. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech, addressing the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom Civil Rights March at the Lincoln Memorial. Of course, that was a really big
Great
historical event.
speech.
Absolutely. On this day in 1965, the first Subway sandwich shop was opened in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
That's been a long
Now
run.
they have tons and tons all over the world.
I wonder, do you know what year like McDonald's started? This is longer ago than I would have guessed
Yeah,
for Subway. That's pretty neat.
I watched a documentary on McDonald's, so I should know that, and I don't remember the exact
It's
year.
probably the 50s, but
Yeah.
it's 65 for Subways. That's
Well,
a good long
yeah,
run here.
Yeah.
It was in the 50s because I went there in the
Okay.
50s.
There
so
we go.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. So this,
Sure.
so it's 65. That's good. Subway's still making it. I
Oh
think.
yeah, I mean it's for a while Subway and McDonald's were going back and forth for most locations worldwide. I think McDonald's has the edge on them right now, but a few years ago it was Subway.
Starbucks can't be far behind
Yeah,
now.
that's true. And on this day in 1977, I feel like I bring this guy up a lot, but this Nolan Ryan struck out his 300th batter for the 5th consecutive year.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why I always bring it up, because all these facts of what he did on this day. No wonder why he's known as the greatest pitcher of all time, or one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Modern day, who would be that kind of strikeout guy? Verlander?
Verlander, maybe Kershaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just really nothing.
There's nobody
comparing
in
this to-
on
That's
his level.
incredible.
And we got a good handful of national days here. Today's National Bow Tie Day, which I forgot my bow
Oh,
tie.
me too.
It's also National Daffodil Day, Cherry Turnover Day, Crackers Over the Keyboard Day. I had to look up what that meant, and that pretty much means eating at your desk, and you get crumbles in your keyboard, and IT department's not happy about it.
No.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
That's not how to make friends in the IT department.
It's also Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day, Radio Commercials Day, Paul,
Let's hit them hard with commercials today,
They play a
Paul.
lot of commercials today.
and Race Your Mouse Around the Icons Day.
That's
I
a
don't know how they
computer.
come up with some of these
You
days.
just spin your
Yeah, pretty much. It's exactly what you think it is.
and try
Wow.
to time it.
I guess if you want to make a whole game out of it.
Maybe on our lunch break we'll see who's faster.
Who's the fastest?
Around the horn. We
Always.
have a couple. Thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
Got a few events happening right now, which is nice to announce. Haven't always had as many here lately. So, the Fulton County Animal Center will be the beneficiary of a sponsor night tonight at the flagpole from 6 to 9. Get some creamy ice cream. The Lake Manitou Association, we have been talking about this. The fish and tenderloin fries actually coming up tomorrow now.
Yes.
4:30 to 7:30 at the Fulton County Museum. Tickets are $10 for adults, $6 for children, and it's carry-out only. So you can stop in, grab your dinner, and head on home. That's tomorrow night. Enjoy some live music on the patio at Uncorked. You've been on the patio at Uncorked? It's really nice.
I have not. The
We got
boss has.
flowers out there. They've done an awesome job with their expanded patio at Uncorked. Well, from 8 to 10 tomorrow, they're going to have live music, and it's free will donation. You don't have to pay to listen, but if you want to give to a cause, they're raising money for the Times Theater restoration again. So excited about that. Junior Achievement Serving Fulton County is hosting a fall fashion show and fundraiser on Saturday, September 19th from 6 to 7 at the Fulton County Community Center. Tickets are $50 a person, or a table of 8 can be reserved for $350. That's a good deal.
It is.
Additional sponsorship opportunities are available, and they range from $100 to $500. This benefits Junior Achievement Fulton County. Great cause. And we wanted to give flowers this morning for Terry and Chris Randall, Viking Foods in Akron, as they're both retiring this weekend. They've owned Viking Foods for 36 years, with a great reputation, by the way. Done a great job. Let's see, I was going to give you some stats on money news this morning. Tanner, you might be interested in some of these. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose a little over 100 points yesterday. It turned briefly positive for the whole year yesterday and then fell back a little bit. Those are the kind of things that make investors nervous when they hit some marks like that.
Yeah.
But did you know what year the Dow Jones Industrial Average was first calculated? Anybody?
No.
Okay, I should have saved this for next week's trivia. 1896.
Wow.
Yeah. It's always included 30 of the larger companies, and they try to pick them where it represents kind of the United States economy. They have a committee that chooses which companies are part of it, so they change sometimes. But the original founders of this were Charles Dow, who was the editor of the Wall Street Journal, and a statistician named Edward Jones. You ever heard of Edward Jones? Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are more investment offices than any other broker, I think. And so that's kind of neat. This came up this week because ExxonMobil got dropped by the Dow Industrial Average, and that's been on there for decades and decades. But this just goes to show you how less of an impact oil has and gasoline on our economy right now. Salesforce.com is what replaced it. So that was fascinating. That's a technology company that makes customer relationship management products online for companies to use. So, and there were some other changes too, but that's really interesting. The other interesting thing this week was Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. We've mentioned him a few times over the years.
Yeah.
It was notable when he became a billionaire. Well, he's worth $200 billion now.
Can I have a fraction of his money?
I know.
It's more fun to earn it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't sound convincing.
But still, I mean, you know, if he wants to hand me $1 million, I can put it in an account at
That's right.
Federal Savings Bank.
And earn the interest.
Yeah.
Live on that. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Speaking of First Federal Savings Bank, we are open. We'd love to see you if you want to come in. Got to wear a mask right now. If you don't want to do that, you can come through the drive-up. We are making a lot of mortgage loans right now. The housing market is hot.
Yes, it
Interest
is.
rates are basement low, and I don't think any of us thought rates could go this low, but they are very, very low. Great time to refinance and save some monthly on your monthly payment with a lower interest amount. Or you can, if you like the payment you have, you could go ahead and get a bigger house right now because interest is so much lower. So some things to look at there. Maybe you want to fix up your house. Maybe that's a good time to do that. It's cheap to borrow right now, so that has really spurred the housing industry. We can talk with you about that and spend some time with you and talk about the options. It's free. You can talk to Ben Dalton or Stacy Wilson in Rochester, 223-2128. We also have simply free checking accounts for people like us and for businesses too. No monthly fees. That's great. We're giving away wine tumblers and pulled pork shredding claws right now. You seen those, Paul?
I have.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yes.
Makes it easy. You don't have to use forks anymore.
I know.
Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines, and we are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 399927. We'd love to talk with you. Step right up here, gals. We've got some exciting things to talk about here. As I mentioned earlier, our guests this morning are Karmin Reeves from Fulton County Habitat for Humanity, longtime board member, president again, is that correct?
Correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Aimee Stewart. Hi, Aimee.
Morning.
Aimee was one of our first few Habitat for Humanity home recipients. Put a lot of good work into the home, I'm sure.
8 hours.
How many hours is it, just for our reference?
Minimum of 250 per adult
That's awesome.
in the house.
That's some
And we
good.
did raise it for a while to 300, but dropped it back down to 250.
That's
so
great.
it's 250 right now.
Well, Fulton County Habitat for Humanity has been providing homes and working with their homeowners for many years, a couple decades or more, right?
20 years. Our first home was built and closed in December of 1999.
Okay.
And so, and Amy's was closed in November of 2001.
Okay, so what's the typical length of the borrowing period
Okay.
that you have on these
The
homes?
first 5 owners all had 20-year mortgages, and since then, almost all of them have gone to 30. They now offer internationally even longer than that. We do not. We
Okay.
go 30 is our max.
Okay.
But they know the payments for 20, 25, and 30, and they may choose. There's a major difference on what that first mortgage now is. Back when Aimee had the first mortgage, it was strictly on the amount that we as Habitat had put in it, whether it was paying out somebody, buying the lumber, etc., and all the volunteers.
All the costs added
But
together.
if somebody, say, specialized in something and volunteered to do it, we didn't charge them,
Okay.
okay? And then they also carried what was called a second mortgage, which was the difference, which Amy's shaking her head because she remembers this, difference between the first mortgage and the appraised value.
Okay.
That was our safety net, so to speak, that they just couldn't sell it. They had to live there at least 5 years. And if they lived there 5 years, that second mortgage was forgiven totally.
That's
They-
great.
They didn't ever have to pay on it. So I happened to have my secretary look up, and the very first house was $38,100.
Wow.
The second, or the third house, which is Amy's, was $51,588 was her mortgage.
That's a great opportunity.
Today, in the last 3 years, we now have to do exactly what the banks have to do, which is have it appraised. That is their first mortgage.
Okay.
The only, which makes them over 100,000 by the time we have it
I
in.
see.
Even if
different.
we only have 75,000 in it, their mortgage is for 100 if they can afford it. Now there's your difference. If they can't, we can bring it down and they will carry a second mortgage. But otherwise, they don't carry a second mortgage. We just tell them they have to stay in it for 5 years before they sell it.
Okay.
Because if they turn around and sell it, they realize a profit.
Yeah, and that wasn't the purpose for the build
No.
to begin with.
No.
Well, give us an idea of what we're doing here today.
Okay, first of all, the very first house that we built was Judy Dancy.
Here's Tanner will zoom in on
And
that.
that is on 17th Street. She still lives there. And that is the one that was $38,100. Now we have a couple of the first 5 that have paid theirs off, or excuse me, they sold them for whatever reason. Judy still lives there. She was also paid off her mortgage in December. Both she and Amy paid him off. Amy paid hers off early. This is Amy Hammer's house, and it was the $51,588. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I was not on the board then. Yours is a full basement.
Yes.
Yes, and that was because of a son she had that had to have that, and
That's great.
so therefore we did that.
I think we need to give a round of applause for Amy for paying that off. That's something we celebrate
Yes.
at First Federal and also at Habitat. That's incredible.
So here's the paper that they signed. This literally is the first mortgage paper that they signed, and that everything is on. It's the same as at the bank.
Okay.
And we're folding it up today because she's paid it off, and the other one paid it off. I tried this at home. Hopefully it will work.
Well, we have any,
And we are
smoke alarms or
burning
anything?
the mortgage. I have water. I
Look at
have
this.
water to turn it out.
Look at this. This
So
is awesome.
we literally thought we could burn this mortgage because both Amy and Judy Dancy have settled their mortgage. This is the first time in Rochester that this has happened.
That's
and we
awesome.
are so excited.
Congratulations, Amy.
Thank you.
Watch that thing burn.
Yeah.
Now you actually own the home yourself without having to worry or anything. What a peace of mind.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's been great. I've enjoyed living up. It's been almost 19 years. I remember when I was actually allowed to move into the house. There was no furniture, nothing, and we sat in the living room at like midnight and just looked around.
You know,
And that was it.
Yeah.
Before we even moved in. So
It served your needs all this time.
yes, yeah. It's been, my son's 27 now, so he was raised in this house, and
Talk to us about that experience of going through the process of getting the home built and that anticipation. Because, Karmin, you mentioned that we actually are looking for applicants right now for the next build.
We are. Too many applicants haven't kept up on some past loans and even defaulted on some.
Okay.
And that's probably been the biggest problem. But if a person is out there and they are in the 30th to 80th percentile of the average median income, or we call it AMI, of the county,
That's a big range.
and that is a big range, and it depends on how many people are in their families. But for a single person, I'm guessing, without looking at it, 23 to 30,000. And it's a little more than that, the more people you have in your family. It goes all the way up to 8.
That's great.
And so, at any rate, we are looking for a person that qualifies. They have to have a job because there is a mortgage, and a lot of people do not realize that Habitat has a mortgage.
Yeah.
It is interest-free. Yes, the loan and banks can get it at a very low interest rate right now, but not zero.
You can't beat zero,
You
can you?
cannot beat zero.
That's
And
great.
the people that sold it, we tried to tell them, in particular 2 of them, we tried to tell them, you know, if you go to buy another house, you're not going to get a 0% mortgage. But one of them had to move away due to an illness,
Okay.
and that
What?
was before the 5 years was up, which was sort of sad.
Oh yeah.
They loved that house. But the funny part is, a person who married the person that owned the house worked on that house
Really?
as a Habitat volunteer when he was young, high school.
Oh my gosh.
So that was very interesting. And then from that point, you know, we've talked about maybe doing something because our fundraisers have gone a little bit off schedule with things
I'm
because
sure.
of things. But we had a great golf outing. Thank you to Tim.
Thanks,
being
Tim.
our
Thank you to everybody
chairperson.
helping me. I had a great help.
And our board is a total 100% volunteer board, and they are a working board.
Motivated.
That is really awesome.
That's great.
And and I want to give a shout out here to Donnie Williams, if he's listening in, because he's been one of what we call the three amigos, Donnie, Don Christensen, and Arnie Snipes. And they have worked on I don't know how many houses. Almost all.
Probably
They
almost
work
all of
on
them.
yours.
Yeah.
So that, see, clear back to the third
Wow.
house before I was involved.
Thanks, guys.
Donnie's been very, very ill lately, and is supposed to have gotten home this week, and I've not talked to him to find out if he's home. But special shout out to the three amigos, plus anybody else who has volunteered. We've had the banks volunteer to do something like painting.
Yeah,
And
Donnie taught me how to hang some drywall when I had never done that before, and he was very patient with me as I.
Donnie has taught tons of people
That's fun.
things, even teenagers when they had a FCYLA youth
Yeah.
leadership,
Mhm.
and we went out there. If you've been by 12th and Main, which is Marcy Murphy's house, on there you will see some Adirondack chairs. He helped the teenagers build that.
That's
Oh
neat.
wow.
And it was out at his barn, and it was really, really eye-opening. Those kids have already said to me multiple times, "I'll never forget doing that," and getting lessons from Donnie.
You're talking about one of the intangible benefits to our community, and the new homeowner
Yes,
is going through that process of putting the house together. You take a lot of pride in that. You learn new skills. It's very personal. I'm sure it's very emotional.
yes.
It is. Yeah.
Well, we've been speaking with Karmin Reeves, President of Fulton County Habitat for Humanity, and Aimee Stewart, one of the first Habitat homeowners to pay off the mortgage, and we burned that here live on the radio and Facebook. That was really fun. This was great. We're very excited and happy for you, Aimee.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
And the big thing is once they pay it off, usually they have an escrow account which pays the taxes and
Right.
the
Insurance. The
Insurance.
homeowners.
now they have to pay their own. So once they pay it off, because we're getting in where another couple should be paying them off on the 5-year mortgages, that they have to remember to save for that. That's a big deal for some people.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great time, and if you're looking to think this might be a fit for you, you want to buy a home, and this maybe is a good opportunity, contact Karmin and make that application today. I think there was something in the Shopping Guide News about how
There
to do
was.
that as well this week. So,
And it's online at Fulton County Habitat for Humanity.org. They can get the
great.
application right offline.
very convenient. Okay, our trivia question. Let's see if you guys know this one. How many homes has Fulton County Habitat for Humanity built since 1998? 16, 19, or 22? We'll let Paul guess first because he's on the line here.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I'm gonna go the low end and go 16.
You're right.
You're correct again. Tanner's shaking his head back there.
One day,
16
Tanner.
homes. That's
Yeah.
really exciting.
You have to realize, because we are an all-volunteer and we don't have an office, we don't have a phone anymore, we have a post office box. It's different than like what you see with South Bend, Mishawaka, etc.,
Right.
who build 16 homes
Right.
during Jimmy Carter build.
Yeah.
They're now building 5 homes in Mishawaka. We don't have the funds to do that. We have not had to take out a loan since 2005
Wow.
to finish off these homes, which has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been well supported by the community.
And grants from all around.
Okay, our words of wisdom, last part of our show. This is from Sidney Harris, an American journalist. Happiness is a direction, not a place. Let's head there this weekend. What do you think?
I agree.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Thanks. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.